I'd like to open the meeting of the Public Art Commission of City of Palm Springs on Thursday, April 4th, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. Jay, can you do roll call, please?
Commissioner Silvera,
Present.
Commissioner Burns,
Present.
Commissioner Fabo,
Here.
Vice Chair Newkirk,
Here.
Chair Armstrong,
Here.
Commissioner Ramirez, indicated he would not be able to attend, and Commissioner Shelton is not present. We have one.
Excellent. Would someone like to make a motion for an acceptance of the agenda?
I'll make a motion that we accept the agenda as presented.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. Public comments. This time has been set aside for members of the public to address the Public Arts Commission on items of general interest within the subject matter jurisdiction of the commission, and agenda items if the member of the public cannot be present later in the meeting at the time the item is heard by the commission. Additionally, members of the public may address the commission on each item listed on the posted agenda at the time each item is heard. Although the Public Arts Commission values your comments pursuant to the Brown Act, it generally cannot take any action on items not listed on the posted agenda. 3 minutes are assigned for each speaker. Jade, do we have any public comments?
Anyone in the audience, have public comments, please, and please, hit the button so the light at the base is green.
Hi, my name is Jody Diaz. I am a 32-year resident of Palm Springs and educator, and I'm here today as both a resident of North Palm Springs area, as well as speaking as the Vice President of the Black History Community of Palm Springs on a couple of topics. One thing I just wanted to pass around, the first thing is what I'm sending around is a photo of the entrance to Palm Springs on Indian Canyon. There used to be a nice old retro green sign that said Palm Springs right in front of that group of palm trees there. I don't know who removed the sign, I don't know who owns the land. However, they did, when they built the Miralon, that new community out there, there is a nice, pretty orange little Palm Springs sign on the median before you get to this. But this has just become an eyesore. It's it's not kept up, and I was wondering, one, if the Public Arts Commission could look into something with the contributions and input from the community, if there could be something that we could do with that area to beautify the entrance to Palm Springs, particularly for the community that is right there. And Tramview is the first road as you enter, where you can enter the gateway, Desert Highland Gateway Estates area. The other couple of topics I wanted to talk about, which I know are on the agenda, one is specifically the George Floyd mural. Again, as a Black History Committee, we had a discussion of, wanting to preserve that. And I know that there's a lot of logistics. It's on a building that somebody else owns and it needs to come down, and there's lots of things around that which I don't know all the details to. But we had discussed some possible locations for that. We were looking somewhere in the downtown corridor would be nice, rather than tucking it away. We don't need to put that. We would like that to be front and center, to remain as is, just as a reminder of some of the plight of the Black community. We said maybe the fire station 1, maybe on the wall of that, somewhere in Francis Stevens Park, or the Village Green, down where all the history buildings are. That's city-owned buildings and properties, so we thought that would be maybe, and I don't even know, obviously you guys are gonna discuss the upkeep of it, or are you gonna change it, or are you gonna keep it as is? And we were, we had quite a discussion at length as a committee. Even as is might even be even more impactful, as it's been defaced a little bit as well. So we had that discussion, and then I know you're gonna talk about the mural on the James O'Jesse building, the city building, and I know we've been talking about this for a long time. And so it looks worse and worse every season. And so I'm hoping that you have a solution that's fundable. We are in full agreement with trying to do something and having some of the community members be part of helping to do that. We would be and honored to do that. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Jody.
Any other public comments from the audience? No additional public comments. Okay.
Remarks from the chair. I've had a busy day. Tom and I had a meeting at the airport, probably our sixth, at least my sixth meeting at the airport on this specific project. Pillars of Palm Springs is nearing installation. Two of them go up on Monday, the other four go up on Wednesday. And then the dedication is the following Monday, which I told you about. I had a meeting on the weekend about the Eco Art Walk, which I'll be addressing. The good news on that is we got permission from the floodplains control to install artwork along there, even though we were told we would probably not get it. So that's good news. We can put art there. The reason why I'm telling you all this isn't to say, you know, oh, I'm so amazing, I'm so busy, but everything we're doing is harder. Everything is much, much more difficult. We can all sit in the room and come up with the most amazing ideas and come up with, you know, we want to do this, want to do this, want to do this. But when I was looking at what we're doing with pillars, and that has touched public works, it has touched finance, it has touched planning, it has touched, you know, the parks department is involved now. Every department is touching that because it's so integral to the part of the city. And so we need to be more cognizant of that. We need to be more cognizant that we just can't run out and do something. There's a slowness to it, but there's a method to that slowness. It's frustrating. This isn't what we signed up for. When we agreed to be on the Arts Commission, it's volunteer work to make the city beautiful, to do amazing things. But at the same time, we have to work within this system. And I'll say it because she was here, but Jody sent this very nice email. I said, Jody, nice to see you. It's not our agenda. We can't even talk about this. That's part of the system. It's not Palm Springs, it's California. This is how it works with the Brown Act. So Jody's aware of it. We've done some things on the Parks Commission. Actually, Jody and I talked about Eco Art Walk down 2 years ago, actually. So she understands what I mean. It's slow moving, but if we're focused and we're passionate, we will accomplish it. That's all I'm gonna say. So that's my message. As an aside, I've got a hard stop at 7 o'clock. So if we're still continuing at 7, Barrett will take over and I will have to run out, but I think we'll be able to get through everything.
No comments
Any
from me.
comments? Okay. Next, public hearing. The next item is a public hearing to consider resolution number MUR 2024-001. On the writing, it says 005, but it's actually 001. Quote, a resolution of the Public Arts Commission of the City of Palm Springs, California, approving an art mural application for Desert Sun and Palm Tree by muralist Sean Spellman, located on the north and south elevation of the building at 284 South Indian Canyon Drive, case MUR 2024-001. And if you recall, this was the mural that was going to be with the palm tree and the sort of very graphic treatment, and questioned whether it was a logo and it was going to be used in any other applications. Do any members of the commission have questions before we open the public hearing?
My question is, are we gonna get an answer about that?
Commissioners, in your packet should be an email that includes responses from the applicant regarding the questions that were posed. And we also have a representative from the hotel, Philip Bates, available to answer questions.
Yeah, I didn't see the answers in the package.
You did not?
No.
So they were in the previous email, they're not.
I read them
Okay.
because I was on it, but I didn't see them publicly. But essentially, top line is, it is not used for any advertising. It's not used for any marketing. It will not be on any literature. This is just a design treatment that the artist came up with, so it did answer all of our questions that we had at the last meeting.
And we have the applicant online.
Hello, applicant. Is that the gentleman steering?
That's Philip.
Hi, I'm having trouble hearing you all. Did you ask to hear from the applicant?
Yes. Yes.
Hi, my apologies. My name's Philip Bates and I'm the owner of Drift Palm Springs and the brand as well. And yeah, we found we've long been a fan of this artist, Sean Spellman, who actually used to be a resident of the desert. He currently resides in Rhode Island now, but will often come back out to the desert, you know, for art exhibits and things like that, and spends time between Palm Springs and Joshua Tree. He has a very organic, you know, minimalist style that we like. It's almost primitive in its approach. We really like that. And I think it might have been Jay, you mentioning that this is not advertising. That's kind of the brand of Drift. If you notice on the hotel, it only says Drift, just kind of pretty small in one area. And the idea there is to leave a sense of something discovered by the hotel. In other words, you know, if you don't, you don't, kind of thing. And but what we did love about that kind of mural he painted is we feel like it very much represents some of the sense of discovery in the desert, and that a lot of the beauty in the desert is just kind of what the desert has, and you don't need to touch it. And so we like that. We thought it would be kind of a non-branding landmark for the hotel, and something that would really kind of catch people's eye as they drive by and make them smile. So pretty simple. I don't know if that's what you were asking to hear from me, but thought I would just try to give a little background.
No other questions. I'll open the public hearing. The applicant give a presentation or provide public testimony, which he has, so we don't need to do that. And does anyone in the audience wish to provide public testimony? No? I will now close the public hearing. And are there any final questions or comments by the commission on this before we vote? I just want to say that my original question on if this was being used for advertising or marketing doesn't mean that it would not be allowed. It would just mean that's not the role of the commission to approve that. That would be the role of the planning department. So we approve the art, planning approves advertising. So I just don't want us to get involved in something we're not responsible for. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve this mural as it stands at this time? Someone like to make a motion to approve it.
I make a motion that we approve. Do I have to read the entire number here?
Yes.
Number MUR-2024-0001.
So anyone make the second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All approved. Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I do not believe we did the approval of the minutes.
I thought we did.
Did we?
I thought we did too. I almost thought we didn't, but I think we did.
I
We
thought
could
we
do it
did.
again.
We approve the agenda.
Yeah. Oh, we approved the agenda. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
The agenda.
Would someone like to make a motion to approve the approval of the minutes from the meeting of March 7th, 2024?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of March 7th meeting.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Apologies. We don't have to go through this again, do we?
No.
Okay, good. Thank you. Next steps, discuss next steps for the James O. Jesse mural at Richard Wyatt entitled Desert Highland Mural Project. Okay, so, Mr. Carlos, over to you. And make
It's
sure your
been,
mic is turned on.
Well, I mean, Sean probably was able to talk to Mr. Wyatt, but I think what we know now is that Mr. Wyatt it's in favor of restoring the mural. The last meeting that we had there, we agreed that we don't need to recreate the mural on tiles, but to restore the mural with the images that are there. And it's, I saw the mural, all the line work is there. It's almost like coloring book. It's just, but of course, it needs to be a skillful person. And I think members of the community could participate also. There are a lot of areas that could be just, he recommended a person. He once recommended a person. And I understand him. I think I would like to do that too, if I were the artist, that would be able to restore the mural, not to recreate, to restore the way probably he wanted it. So Jay sent us a draft of a document that Mr. Wyatt could, but I don't think that would work, right, Jay?
That's correct. We have located the original agreement for this mural. And based on what that agreement contains, the mural is jointly owned by both the city and Mr. Wyatt. So the process to make a change would be amending the agreement with Mr. Wyatt to allow for the restoration. I believe the Arts Commission may want to be part of the selection of the new artist at some point. And we would need a new agreement with the new artist also. So those are just a few of the steps we would need moving forward. And of course, everyone agreeing to the terms and process that Commissioner Silvera just outlined.
So Jay,
So there wouldn't be an open call if he's recommending an artist to do it.
Well, we also have to be careful that he can't recommend an artist who says he's gonna charge $500,000.
Huh.
There are budget constrictions as well.
Yeah,
So there are city qualifications for what we do. It would be a specialty skill. So the way we'd probably do it is he could make 2 to 3 recommendations in various price points, or we could give him a budget and he would have to stay within that budget.
maybe that's the second option.
It's like, we can't just say, oh yeah, he's gonna say this person's $500,000. I mean, we can approve it, but I guarantee you it won't be approved by council, and I don't wanna go down that road.
I think I like the idea if he recommends an artist, because then is he very ill that he wouldn't be able to come here to supervise sometimes, Shonda, or Mr.
Yeah,
Wyatt?
it's a personal matter for Mr.
Okay.
Wyatt. He's dealing with his health, so, from what I gathered, when I had the conversation with him, he wanted to have an artist that has worked with him in the past and has worked on this mural previously, that he would like to recommend that mural, that person lives outside of California, so logistically, there's to figure out how that's gonna work out. And also the option of tile isn't off the table, because this particular person he wanted to recommend is a professional in that. So we will need to get 2 different price points, of one with tile and one with some kind of paint that's durable or resistant, that will withstand the test of time, because that is a south facing wall. In order for it to be painted again without the proper materials, we'll have to keep on revisiting this. In the last couple of years of getting feedback from the community, they've said that they really want it in tile, so it can withstand the test of time. So it's just a
Mr. Wyatt said
matter of the community
Alright.
really wanted it in tile, so it can withstand the test of time. By paint, depending on, there are paint technologies that have advanced since the 80s, when the mural was done over 30 years ago. And there is a possibility of that, but I still do not want to take a tile off the table, especially if it's economically feasible and can be within the parameters that we're providing funding for. If it can be done like that, it would be excellent. And therefore, it would just be a matter of maintenance, of making sure that it's not dirty. versus having to repaint it every 5 to 10 years.
Jay, just quickly, I got a text message that somebody said the video link isn't broadcasting. Is that a matter that will affect the meeting? Is this being recorded?
It's being recorded.
Okay, so you can just post it later.
I can post it later, but I am trying to, I don't know if our IT folks can come and assist.
Okay.
And if that's the case, I think we should bring this matter up again at another meeting if people online want.
Yeah, that's why I said, that's why I brought it up there. Like, oh, there's nothing at the link.
I'll have to email.
Okay.
There's a couple of things that other people in the community voiced that it was a huge amount of money to restore the mural without having the facility itself being restored. I don't know if the city has any plans to renovate or revitalize the building. I know that Carlos brought up again another area in the courtyard that the mural could be reconstructed there
That's
as
a nice
well.
area.
But there's other options.
Yeah, inside.
But if there's a way that we can find a solution to restore this beautiful artwork, especially if Richard Wyatt Jr. isn't available in the future, it would be a beautiful legacy for our community to have this original piece of artwork from him that community members have put their time and dedication into, that has been a staple in our community, that has also been in pictures from Europe to Africa to every continent, has had people, they come and they visit and they take pictures there, especially when there were several exhibits of Desert X out there. The building does have a presence, and that mural is extremely striking. And it would be a travesty for us to lose such a beautiful piece of artwork that's been here and it's been a fiber of the community for so many years.
I think from an artist point of view, from a painter, if we do tiles, we won't be able to restore the mural. The tiles will be on top of it, and then we have to go completely start from scratch. Then we recreate something with the same theme or something, but if we're talking about restoring, then we can restore the mural. And I don't know, I think that the tile process, I mean, Gary was sending some information, would take much longer.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if we just restore the mural, and I'm pretty sure Mr. White is thinking about restoring the mural on that wall. I'm pretty sure now we have much better quality of paint and something that at least can avoid the fading, right? The sun.
Yeah, there have been so many developments on the page. And even if it's, as you said, I mean, I've seen that close to, and you're right, it's almost like a cartouche in a way, right? Where you can just.
The lines are there,
Yeah.
everything's there.
Yeah, so even if, a painter restorer really is what it was, is you want somebody who's technically trained to restore it. They would seal that so that any painting they do doesn't then fade into the plaster, which is, we don't know how it was sealed in mid-80s when it was done. So they seal that, they put a paint then that sort of becomes much more vibrant on the adhesive, and then it's sealed again. And they seal it with sort of anti-fade and anti-graffiti. Which is, again, there's all these developments that have happened. Now, if you did go with that approach, your timeline is condensed. The thing could be done in probably 5 to 6 months, as long as everything's approved. Once you get into tile, the manufacturing of the tile is 18 months minimum. That's just getting them made. And then getting installed is another 6 months. That was from his original proposal too, so.
Right, but he was using, commercially done tile that he was painting and glazing on, so it wasn't like he was firing and making.
No, but just making the tile is, if you're doing it on tile, you have to capture the exact image to then put it on tile, and capturing it is, as we said, you can't scan it. There's not a scanner big enough. You can't photograph it because you're gonna
No,
get
no, the
distortion.
resolution will be terrible.
Yeah, so the process for tile could be done. It could take more than 2 years.
But then the mural wouldn't be restored, the mural will be recreated.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, the beauty of that mural, that I agree with you, Sean, it's it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I think it's, according to his idea, I think we better just to restore it, but,
I'm almost, again, Sean, and I agree with what you're saying, that when I was at the community meeting, I had people behind me saying, why don't we spend this money on computers, or why don't we spend this money on other things? So there's a faction of the community that's like, do we want to invest in this, or do we want to invest money elsewhere? Tile versus painting, again, that's an appropriate discussion. The money for restoration of the building and computers and all that, that's not art's budget. Art's, but we have to stay focused on the art. Doesn't mean that they can't champion their, Grace Garner and say, get us more money for this, make this a bigger issue. That's Measure J, honestly. They should be going to Measure J for the community center. And the grants, neighborhood grants are coming back up, so make sure you're aware of that and get that in place. It seems to me, Jay, that we have 3 steps ahead of us. One, we need to agree to move forward with a renegotiation with Mr. Wyatt. I would strongly suggest that there is some clause in there that if he does have health issues, that at some point, what happens with the park ownership? Does it go to his estate, or does it revert to the city? With that ownership, if he's, we need to know what the next steps on that are.
I think in order to keep the providence, it would be better that it goes to the family instead of back.
That's why we just need that delineated. That's what I'm saying. If it's in the estate or this, which way does it go? So we don't have problems down the road. And I think we need to put into the agreement some sort of range of pricing for his people. So again, we don't want to continue to waste time and him saying, I want this person, and the person's like, if I'm flying in and out, site inspections, you're running up the till on that. And we just can't go down that road and have council say, we're not putting that money into this. If it's going up to $500,000 to restore a mural. So I think,
or if he has one more recommendation, if he has,
well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, give him a
Yeah.
range, give him a
Yeah.
financial range.
yes.
Because we all want him to be the one to recommend. But, having somebody restore a mural is not the same price as having somebody do tile.
Especially if he was working on the mural that time.
Yeah, tile, so much of your money is going into the manufacturer. So. Any other comments on that? So will you be the one reaching out for the agreement?
Well, Commissioner Favos had more luck contacting Mr. Wyatt than I have, so maybe in coordination.
Yeah.
We can have a draft reviewed.
Yeah, it should be a staff person doing that. Yeah, it's a legal document. That's not Shonda's responsibility to get
Right,
signed.
right.
Any other comments on this?
And if, I would be willing to go to LA, I mean, if he lives in LA too, with a document for him to sign and everything, if that's.
Yeah, it's like inducement. Okay, next, approve removal of the George Floyd mural from storefront located at 317 North Indian Canyon, discuss prepare and potential new locations for the mural. Last we spoke, I took everybody through the steps that this was a temporary art project that was intended to be up there for 6 months. It is on a private building. The other murals at that time have been removed by the building owners, and this was the only one sort of left standing because the building owner did not continue with their rehabilitation of the building. I asked Jay to get a legal opinion from the city lawyer. not if we have an obligation, but if we can use public funds for this. Because we're not supposed to use art funds for something that is not public art. And the lawyer said because there was the discussion at the time of when the mural was being removed, we could move the panels elsewhere. We can use public funds to move the panels. So right now, what we're gonna be doing is voting on having city staff remove the panels. The building owner has said he will put up new panels in place of that. We will then put these panels in storage, so they will be preserved. And then at a subsequent meeting, we will vote on what to do with the mural, if we want to recreate it, if we want to use the panels or some other place. Now, to follow up on your comment, Jody, and I can address this because it's in this point here. One of the challenges we face with all buildings downtown, and I've looked at doing a mural on the fire building, is it's a historic building. And we can't do anything to it. Everything in Francis Stevens Park is historic, which we're discovering, not just the building, but the park itself. So every piece of artwork we put in there has to be approved by the Historic Site Preservation. So, and they would not let us do anything to the building. So we're challenged with where we can put something like this in downtown.
Could it be a freeze? Am I allowed to tell them that?
You can talk, yeah.
Could it be a freeze?
Could you use the microphone?
Oh, of course. Could it be a freestanding?
It can, it's a big piece.
Mm-hmm,
So it would you'd need to do something on either side and you'd need to have a place to put it.
mm-hmm. Village Green, downtown park.
But again, the parks are all historic.
Downtown park cannot be historic.
It is, it's site 2. It's class 2.
You don't know?
No, it's class 2. We discovered this.
Well, what about the big thing they're gonna put there?
The which,
They're not putting it there anymore.
The donut,
the donut's not going there.
thank God.
Yeah. So,
The mural that was done for the 2 fallen police officers that were gunned down on the 111,
Mm-hmm. That's
there's space on that building.
yeah, that's a private building, so we need approval from Michael Braun. I'm not sure, and I believe there was a little slap on the wrist because that's a historic building, but his site preservation said that the side of the building where that mural is was not considered historic and did not add to the integrity of the historic building. So it's complicated. Doesn't mean we can't find a solution. I just wanted you to know that, trust me, I've wanted to do a mural on the fire station for a while and you can't. So, but I agree also with what you said and Commissioner Fefo has said in the past that you want this message to be visible. You don't want it hidden in a community. You know, because I don't think the people at James O. Jesse.
Get it,
Yeah.
so it needs to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think the people at James O. Jesse need to know the importance of the message. I think it's other people. So.
Okay.
And as I said, we can't make a determination now. I think we need to think about it. And consider, is it moving the panels or recreating the mural somewhere else that could.
And you guys have already had a discussion on this before?
It's been discussed many times.
Yeah.
So,
Another suggestion I have is to also create another mural. I think as the Public Arts Commission, I feel that we should go above and beyond. Especially with the anniversary of it, that we should do a call and have several artists do. Some kind of art, exhibit or something else we can offer the community. Because the site itself was, a healing place that people have taken a lot of pictures there. There's been a lot of news stories there. It's also been in documentaries. So I think the preservation of the panels, in the state that they're in now, I don't think it does justice to the message. I believe that the panels should be cleaned up, and restored before, I highly disagree about putting them in storage because unfortunately, our city has a history of losing things that go into storage and things getting damaged while they're in storage. I feel that, maybe it might be a good idea to have a particular piece as a traveling exhibit around, the community. There's several different solutions that we could have and we could come up with because this message is being lost. I think when it was done more for a photo op and the community, the Black community, the Black history community wasn't consulted beforehand. And now here we are, again, the city, this mural has been in this state for over 6 months, sending a very clear message. And during Black History, in February, before February, I brought it up and I brought it up. And there could have been something done then. And unfortunately, there's several people have contacted me and they've let me know how disappointed they are with the city of Palm Springs and how they've handled this. And it has left a bad taste in people's mouth. It was extremely embarrassing for our city that's supposed to be so diverse, to have a mural like this that go during Black History Month being vandalized. In my letter that I sent to the city controller, I let him know that it wasn't a good look for the city. And I believe as a public arts commission, we need to do something else in order for the community to be able to participate in. I don't know if there's something that we could do in this art walk that's coming up, that we can have artists express how they feel about it. But there's something that we still need to talk about because this issue is still on the table. And there are people that are in our community that are still suffering today. And every time they drive by, it's painful, especially with that mural as well as with the James O. Jesse Richard Wyatt Jr. mural. It unfortunately people feel like they are not being seen and art that represents the Black community isn't being respected.
I would remind the community that this was on private property and we can't even go up and touch it without their permission.
I
So, and-
totally understand that,
and so-
we all understand that, but it's optics, and we know that we're a city that has deep pockets and a lot of influence, and that response isn't good enough.
Well, it's the truth.
I know it's the truth, but it's not good enough.
Then there's nothing much I can do. This is the truth. It's not our building. So,
But we took responsibility for it by paying for it,
and it was intended.
to be a temporary.
Temporary. So
When
I trust
people-
as a commissioner, you understand the rules.
I understand that, but I'm expressing for the people that are not here, the people that have called me, I'm letting their voice be heard also. And I'm hoping that their voice will be heard because they're so upset that they're not even here. Because they feel like, what is the city gonna do? It's just going to constantly say what you're saying to them instead of offering another kind of solution for healing.
I would remind those people that the forum to make public comment is either write a letter, come in person, or speak at council. They should not be going to you. That's unfair to you. And there's many opportunities for people to make comment. Again, this was private property. We couldn't touch it until Jay got a hold of the landlord. We're voting to take action. We can't just take the panels off and where do we put them? We have to put them in storage until we come up with a solution. So if you don't want to approve removing the panels, you can vote no or abstain. But this is what we're here to vote upon.
I'm just making it be heard and going public record, because it's not a good look for the art commission nor the community or the city of Palm Springs. I just want to reiterate that again and again and again.
And I will repeat again and again, this was private property. And again, we're
That's
doing
in
what
the
we,
public eye. We don't wanna go back and forth. We're not here to fight about this. I'm asking for us to come up with a different kind of solution. Maybe the art walk is something that we can come up with. I'm asking for some other more discussion, whether we have to put together some kind of committee or something in order to continue the healing that the city needs with this issue, because people feel like the city isn't doing enough. As an art commission, that's our responsibility.
and we have that opportunity for people to come engage. So I welcome that. So next time someone has issues, sign them up. Now, we are to vote on if we want to remove the panels. The panels will be removed by city staff and they will be stored until we determine what to do with them. The other option is to leave it in place. Based on what you're saying, they need to be removed.
So I recall back in 2021, we did some outreach trying to find new locations for the mural. And I probably reached out to 3 or 4 properties and either got a no or no response, and that sort of ended it. I'm wondering now, are we moving them out of any kind of urgency, or is it only just because we have permission to do it?
We're moving them because they've been vandalized and they haven't been restored.
And we finally got permission.
We finally got permission, because I agree, like, I would like to have some sort of, it would be preferable if we had a plan where we were going to be putting the panels in the future, as opposed to putting them in storage and hoping to find a future home for them. Is there an option to clean the panels now and leave it until we have
The option
a
is
location?
the gentleman who cleans up our graffiti artwork on public art has declined to do this. And he suggested we go to the original artist who lives in LA. So that means we would pay him to come here, do an LA, and he would repair it at that point, sometime. So that's money we need to put out for something that we may not even keep the panels. We may vote down the future. We don't know where the panels are going. So it's not an ideal situation, and we're trying to make the best thing possible. So if we think this is a shameful image, we can remove it. If we're okay leaving it, we can say we're gonna leave it there. That's what we're voting on.
Can I get one more question on it?
Sure.
Are the panels donated to the city, or do we own those now?
We will get the panels. And the building owner will put new panels up.
Okay, but is he officially donating the artwork to the city? It will become part of the city's art collection?
That's a legal question. It doesn't technically become part of the city's art collection until council accepts it.
Okay, but is that the route we're taking? with
That is
this?
the directional route.
Okay,
So they'll be stored, as they are vandalized, and then what, do we get it doesn't seem like we're really reaching a solution. I think we either need to come up with another mural or some kind of something elsewhere.
Right.
But
And that's what I said at the
as far as
beginning is,
taking
and
it
we're not
down
gonna
and just
determine that
doing it.
now,
Mhm.
because again, murals in Palm Springs are difficult. The buildings the city owns are generally historic. Then you have to go to a property owner and say, we want to put a mural on your property. That's the challenge. I guarantee you, 95% of them do not want plywood attached to their building. So it comes down to, then we need to recreate the mural, which we should. We talked about this. You and I talked about including the photographer, the woman who caught his death happening. To me, she deserves her own mural. We are stuck here. So the question is, do we want to keep the mural up as it is? Or do we want to remove the panels so it's no longer in public view? That's what we're
Keep
deciding.
the murals where they are because the location is nice.
It's not our
Clean it.
location though. And the owner could
I mean,
say.
if the murals now, if they are there, they are clean, and then we treat it with anti-graffiti, so even if they try it, I mean, there's this.
It's gonna
Again,
have to be moved.
Either
Carlos,
way.
the artist,
Yeah.
it's going to have to be moved. The artist will, our repairman said, I won't touch it, get the original artist. The original artist is in Los Angeles. We would have to bring him here and pay him to repair them, and we may not even keep them. We may determine, we found a place that will allow us to paint a new mural.
That sounds like you.
So the question is, do we want to remove the panels now? Or do we want to keep them in place? And then at the May meeting or the June meeting, we can decide on where we're redoing this mural. Where we're making that recommendation. But to do that, we need to investigate. We need to know what the capabilities are. Again, we want high profile. We wanted a building that theoretically we have control over. I don't want to, put this mural on something and then a building owner change hands in a year and say, get rid of them. So that's the challenge. It's complex. It's not like we're making aesthetic judgments here. These are technical judgments. And they're not social judgments either. We're not saying this isn't a worthy mural. It's a technical piece of wood,
It's on plywood, so.
some plywood.
It's a problem also.
Yeah, and again, the mural, 2/3 of it is on plywood. Some of it's on the building. So we can't even pick this mural up, these boards up and put them on the building. It has to be repainted again, no matter where it goes. Because everything in between is missing.
So can also, after, or I don't know if we can add to the vote or how we go about doing this, is do a call for an artist in order for that, to start the chain of events in order to get in place that we're moving in a direction of getting another mural done or sculpture or symbol or something that the community isn't left feeling like they have no place, that this was just taken and erased, and then you turn the corner and the police mural is still up there fading away.
Actually, the police mural is being removed, but that's the second one. I think the way to handle it, Shonda, is we make a decision to look for a new location. And then once we find the location, we do the call for artist. Because the first thing the artist is gonna say, where is it? What's the scale? What's the scope?
Well, if the call for artists comes in with ideas that we didn't think of, like a sculpture or some kind of freestanding,
That's,
you
it's,
know,
I think you're
piece.
talking to, if you're gonna do a sculpture, that's one thing. A social justice sculpture, that's great.
Mhm.
Keep in mind, we got $50,000 going to the James O'Jesse for Artscape, and it can be social justice. That's been approved, and that's gonna be in the
But that's
works.
what James and Jesse, the community already knows what.
It can go in Victoria Park.
brutality is
You
all
know,
about.
it can be for a park. So it can go into that program,
If
which
we're
is easier than doing a mural someplace. Murals are a challenge. We all know that.
And, forgive me for not knowing, is the city, the place, oh, is that, what is it called, the event center.
Convention center?
Thank you, the
Yeah.
convention center, is that also a historic building? Cause, it was also suggested the mural go there. So.
I
when people-
think I have not been told, but I think there's something with the front of the building. Because that was. Famous
Cause
architect.
in my
there's-
recollection, there wasn't.
We'd have to look into that.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's actually historic or a particular design, but.
Yeah.
So going over to the civic center would be a really good place because section
Yeah.
14 is there also, and hopefully we can also get a mural or
Yeah.
something else over there as well.
Inside the convention center, they're looking for more art inside. So it doesn't mean we can't do something there.
But does that coincide with how many hours it needs to be on?
I think it's open. It's considered, we have public art in there.
Okay,
Yeah, it's like the airport.
So that I'm taking it there would probably be.
That's
That's
something we can look
solution.
into. I wouldn't do anything on the outside because the building is with plywood, and I know they're looking at changing the convention center as well. They just put forth a 5-year
I mean, if
plan.
there's a way, even if we can get a local artist, another artist to recreate or reimagine or
Yeah.
redo something, another mural that the community can rally behind, I think that's important. The fact that this artist came from LA to do it. It would be nice to get somebody locally to do it, or someone that has ties to the community
I
here.
agree.
We're not sure if that particular artist has family here.
We've had that
So,
conversation for 2 years now,
yeah,
so,
and it's been vandalized for
Yeah,
free, so we,
okay.
have to
We
get
can ensure that this is on the agenda for the May or the June meeting. I think it's a discussion we need to have, but right now we're focused on the panels. So question is, do we want to remove the panels or leave them in place? So that's what we're voting on. And then they will go into storage. Would someone like to make a motion on approving the removal of the George Floyd mural from the storefront located at 317 North Indian Canyon Drive? Or would you prefer to leave them in place?
I have mixed feelings about that, so I don't know.
I'm gonna approve the motion, but I just want to say one thing too. I think we're gonna need the community's input on finding a viable new location.
Otherwise, we'll be in storage forever.
Otherwise, yes, it's gonna sit in storage and we're gonna
Yeah.
be moving on to other
I
projects.
think once we know where we could go with the panels.
And I think we've talked a lot about a lot of different
otherwise
city
it's so-
options. I think it might require like benevolent private property owner coming forward and saying, I have a space, I want this message on my building. So if anyone knows of a space, someone to reach out to, who'd be open to that, I think that's might be the best way to go.
I
if we
haven't
could
seen
find
with
it.
the, with the graffiti on it. Is that bad? It's just, I thought it was just a line.
So, and I'd like to stay focused on this and
Sorry,
the
okay.
voting, are we,
I'm gonna make a motion to
Okay.
approve removal of the George Floyd mural from storefront located at 317 Canyon. And move it into storage and discuss repair and potential new locations at our future meeting.
subsequent meeting? Yeah, okay. Second? Anyone, second? I'll second. All
So,
in favor?
sorry, the approval was for
Remove
the panels,
the,
sorry.
remove the panels and put them in storage until we determine what the location is. The option is to leave it in place with the defamation on the front. It was white paint that was thrown on his face.
Making the statement that the city is whitewashing the issue.
So. So if we don't remove them, it stays in place.
Room will be forgotten there.
Yeah.
So no matter what, then it will be in place until we make a decision to remove them.
I'm just imagining the storage room, like Shonda was talking, this creepy place that will disappear there.
Again, that's,
That's the next step, is
it's fine.
finding.
Yeah,
a new
okay, so
location.
even if we determine to redo a mural, it's not gonna happen for 6 months. So do we want to leave the panels up or not?
I think, we should try to figure out if there's a local artist that can, because, the person that we have on staff doesn't want to do it, and I understand why he doesn't want to do it. There's also, other tagging on the mural. I don't know if there's an artist available that can, fix it.
I think the worst thing is,
Yeah, okay, so
this side of the
let's,
face.
again, let's stay focused here. I will
Okay.
say, Shonda, that solution sounds great. We need to find somebody who's approved. And that's the step process that we know. So the person that was approved to do our repairs. No, so if we find an artist and they say, I want $500, we go to put it at our next meeting. So nothing will happen for at least a month. So do we want to table this motion? I think we should table it. Can we table it, Jay?
You have a first and a second.
Okay,
You may table if you like.
let's table it.
Okay.
And we will look into solutions. If anybody has any locations, anyone in the public, I see we have some representatives from the media here. we're looking for a location.
Can I make a comment?
Sure.
I think. Honestly, I'll tell you, I was gonna vote, I was gonna abstain because I really am uncomfortable taking artwork into the city and making the city responsible for something we don't own, because regardless of what happens, all of a sudden, the city owns artwork that gets destroyed, and then what happens? So I would back this whole thing up, get it donated to the city, go through the city council, whatever approval has to be done before we start taking it down or moving it or storing it, because that becomes our responsibility. So,
Yeah.
well, but it's not technically the city's right now.
It's
So
not.
I'm just trying to, we just
Right.
need to, I mean,
And so to get to that point, we have to vote to remove them.
right,
Because we cannot have city artwork on someone's private building.
well, yes, right,
Okay,
I know.
so we'll discuss this next meeting. Next is approve the scope of work for the public art inventory. Jay, would you like to take us through this? Because I have some questions.
Sure. Commissioners, we had discussed, doing an RFP for public art inventory. We circulated the previous, RFP law proposals for, public art inventory. And just kind of looking at everything, we came up with this draft for, scope of work for the public art inventory, which essentially, calls for, using the existing list that we have, creating, an updated, complete inventory list, and researching where necessary to make sure that all necessary items that would be needed in an inventory be included. And so there's a couple different phases for this, with the first phase really being, doing the research and putting together basically a draft of the inventory that has to be created. Moving into the second inventory, that second phase for more functionality and obtaining photographs, et cetera. So, and it's open for discussion.
Okay, so phase one seems to be the sort of the framework for the work.
Right.
Phase two is the implementation of the content, and phase three is the putting the content out into the public.
Yes.
I'm not quite sure that the tracking of public art proposals. I think that's really important. You know, I like that, but I'm not sure if that should be part of this process. To me, this is, I don't see the value to that being in here. The other piece that I thought was missing is, the thing we talked about, signage. A lot of our pieces of artwork do not have appropriate signage, and the language is inconsistent from piece to piece. And then we also discussed doing a digital QR code that could then lead to the site, and then that ultimately would go through phase three, which would create these idea of walking tours through there. Now, coincidentally, I think at the 2 meetings ago, maybe it was last meeting, Commissioner Favreau suggested maybe we do mini pillars for the things, and that was a great idea. Commissioner Ramirez was in Palm Desert, and they had mini pillars with QR codes on them. I reached out to the art person in Palm Desert, and they got them that signs. They have them manufactured. She's getting the information for us. I passed it on to Jane Christine to be able to do that. So ultimately, that would be a way for us to create a walking tour and sort of a little, as Commissioner Favreau said, little visual landmarks to guide people when they see public art. To do that, it needs to be every piece of public art. You know, not just the new ones. So that'll be a big issue there.
I also was wondering about the public art proposals tracking system, because that did seem like an addition that we hadn't really touched on, but if that was something that staff found that would be useful to sort of incorporate that into the entire system, I didn't see any harm in including it.
You know, it just comes down to when we define that a piece is actually part of the public art collection. And where it would help out also is the approval process. Tracking when the commission approved it, tracking when city council approved it, again, before it's actually in the public art collection. And then when it is approved and completed, it just kind of adds to that. But that information could still be included, even if it's not in the form of a tracking system. So it's not a real sophisticated tracking, it's just getting the dates of approvals and budget approvals.
So the other pieces that I would like to see in here, which would help us with some of the projects we discussed today,
Yeah.
is knowing this document that the Wyatt mural was partly owned by Wyatt and partly owned by the city. That would be great to know in this system. As you know, Jay, we've had issues with, there's weight restrictions on this area where this piece was. That sort of stuff should be in place now. So that if, we make a determination if we're gonna move something, what's the weight, what are the requirements, where it is now, what the weight is. And it would be nice to know utilities there. Is there appropriate electrical in place? All these challenges we're having. So to me, it goes sort of beyond the art, because as we know, and as part of our ordinances, with the art, it's not only the specific art, but it's the maintenance and the installation, which we're responsible for. And again, as we're discovering with certain parks downtown, it's historic. So who knew we were supposed to get permission to remove art that we. But I think it's a good scope as a start.
We can definitely keep it open for more input as it settles in. If you want to just send me your thoughts and ideas on it, and then we could wrap it up and go from there.
And then what is the process from there?
That would be an RFP, request for proposals, out to vendors who do this type of work. And just scoring, rating, selecting, and then from there, having that individual conduct their work.
Next item is to reschedule the meeting for July 4th, which is July 4th holiday. We don't want to have a meeting on that day. I was gonna make a suggestion in that because we have the Artscape art due in July, and we will probably have the asphalt art designs around August as well, both of them in August. And generally, we've not had an August meeting. I was going to suggest we cancel the July meeting and just do our August meeting, and then hopefully we'll be able to review this work as well. And if we find that the proposals for Artscape and asphalt art don't come in on time, we can simply then schedule a special meeting only to review the designs, and we can do our regular work function in August. And I think that sort of makes sense, and rather than trying to do another meeting in a weird time in July. Does that make sense for everybody?
Yes, perfect sense.
Yeah.
So cancel the 4th of July meeting and schedule an August meeting.
Yeah, we'll do a scheduled August meeting, and we'll know when that will be once we get all the legal stuff submitted for Artscape. So.
Why don't we go on and take action on canceling the July 4th meeting then?
Okay. Would anybody like to make a motion to cancel our July 4th meeting, 2024?
I'll make a motion that we cancel our meeting scheduled for July 4th, 2024.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Project updates, Pillars of Palm Springs, as I said earlier, 2 pieces are being installed on Monday. 4 pieces are being installed on Wednesday. They will be all photographed in their entirety on Thursday. Some of the artists have individual photographers photographing them as well with their pieces. So I've been dealing with the city events manager and with Amy Blaisdell, communications officer, on ensuring this is all documented all along the way. And then there will be the dedication on April 15th at 10 a.m. in front steps of City Hall. The mayor will be hosting it. There will be some other council members speaking as well. Everybody will be invited, and there will be a formal invitation going out, I believe, on Tuesday. That's what I think Amy said. So we'll have that happening. There'll be media there, but it'll be nice, and there may be some sort of recognition for the Arts Commission as a whole. We'll see about that. There have been more challenges with pillars that were sort of internal obstacles, not challenges because of the artists. It was just, again, finding things that out of the way. But my advice is to not drive down Tockwitz on Monday or Wednesday because parts of the street will be closed. And Coachella's kicking off, so that should be really interesting. But Public Works is being very accommodating and closing the streets down as the artists have requested. Some of the artists have asked for extensions. I need it till 5:30, and they're doing that for them. So they want to get it done. So it should be great. Okay. And then the Eco Art Walk, as I mentioned earlier, truly Jody and I started talking about this 2 years ago. And when we were trying to figure out if it was a park or not, back and forth, back and forth. I'm now dealing with Christy of code enforcement, and she has been pushing this through. She got feedback back from the floodplain people, and we can put whatever we want 10 feet from the curb. So 10 feet from the curb. Okay. At one point, we were like, oh, do we put it between the sidewalk and the curb, or do we put it between this, this way? And floodplain's like, look, you can put it between the sidewalk and the wash. You need an encroachment permit, and that's $3,000. You need this, that, and that. But because it's over here, that's the city property. You can do whatever you want without our approval over there. So 10 feet from the curb. Okay. Some of the sidewalks are 10 feet because it meanders, there's vegetation there. But as I said, keep that in mind for future projects for the Eco Art Walk. We can have many kinds of messaging. As I said, the community is desperate for artwork there. So I think this would be pretty exciting. So we just need to get everything formalized within floodplains, and then it goes to council for final approval. But that will be pretty exciting. Again, working on 2 years now. Okay. Are there any questions on that? This isn't on the agenda, but I just want to remind everybody about the Art in the Park. April 12th, I believe, April 13th. We have been offered by the park department to have a table and a tent. I believe Jay sent that around to you. It's from 4 to 8 that Saturday. Vice Chair Newkirk and I did it last year, and it actually is a great way to meet the community. A lot of people come out, don't understand what public art is. They love it. That's one where everyone said, we love the benches, we love the utility boxes. So if any of you can participate and be present and sit at the table for an hour or 2 hours, that would be great. Just let Jay know, and then he can help me coordinate so that we have covered. It's nice to have 2 people there, because sometimes you get questions, and if you want to run, get a drink or go to the bathroom or something.
This is Saturday, right?
It's a Saturday.
Okay.
4 to 8, and it's a big event in the park. It's fun. Anything from you, Jay?
Did we want to do a quick update on the asphalt art? I know we have the call for artists drafted and just needs a little more information.
Okay, I'll give you the feedback on that is Commissioner Ramirez has written up the call for artists, submitted to Jay. What I've asked for is to put a hold on it until Jay can confirm with the engineering department the material they want. Because if you were doing an artist and they do a design, and then engineering comes back and says, no, you can't do that design. It has to be in this material. It has to be in this sort of polymer material. That's what we're approving. They will have to redo their design. Or I recall when Jay and I met with engineering probably 2 years ago, I think the then engineer said the cement paint with a coverage of anti-slip. I think that's what he said, but I asked Jay to confirm with the current engineer, because that engineer, previous one is gone, what he would find acceptable. And then whatever paint he finds acceptable, we'll get the palette for the artist to do their design. Okay, but I think everything else is ready to go in terms of the call for art. And then once we get that information, it can go live. And then hopefully we'll get the designs chosen July or August. We'll involve the community at that point, and then they could be implemented probably in October. which feels right. I don't think you want to do anything in September. August or September is too hot and it wouldn't cure properly on the street. So.
I do
Again,
have a question for you, Jay, when we get a chance,
No.
if we're done with that. Going back to the building owner, was the things that he had, for that building, were any of that approved, or is the building just sitting there? Or what's the story with the building that the city can't take eminent domain over it in order to make it into, a museum of some type to heal the city from this pain that this area is causing?
You're talking about the,
George Floyd, with that building, because I believe it used to be an old bus station.
that's my understanding. The, owner had plans of doing a project there. Don't know if there's any project moving forward. Our code enforcement is in contact with him, about making sure the building is, maintained. Eminent domain usually, can be done for, public uses, kind of like streets and such, so, if the building is in disregard and health violations,
It is.
okay, then, that would be something the city could look into for, just kind of maintaining public health purposes. But again, our code enforcement has been working with the owner to make sure that doesn't happen, so, and we don't know, there are future plans for the building either.
Because it looks like the building has had fire damage on one part of it, and there's a lot of broken glass and debris. It's an eyesore and a health hazard. I don't know.
let's
what
try and
else.
keep this focused on art specific stuff. That's
Well, yeah.
that's a
because
different discussion that-
If there's a way that we can get a public arts museum there, I think it is up for discussion.
Yeah, then that needs to be agendized so we can have the
It's
conversation.
just a question asking him about the building.
So that would be a different discussion that Jake can follow.
So
up
Jay, can we
separately.
get information for the, since we tabled that issue, that we can get information for the next meeting?
Sure.
What the status of the building is, so that public arts can have a building or someplace to actually put murals
Yeah.
in that area possibly? It's just a suggestion.
Would someone like to make a motion?
Oh, did you have any comments, Jay?
No, that was it. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So again, if anybody would like to participate in the Art in the Park on April 13th from 4 to 8, please let Jay know. And reminder, April 15th, 10 a.m. in front of City Hall. You'll be getting a formal invitation on Tuesday.
Would someone like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Second.
The Public Arts Commission will adjourn to a meeting on May 2nd, 2024, at 5:30 PM in the large conference room of Palm Springs City Hall.
Thank you, everyone.
We need to vote on the adjournment.
Oh, do we need to vote on the adjournment?
No.
Actually, we don't.
Oh, okay. So we've been doing it all along. We don't need to, Jay?
I don't think we have.
Okay.